this whole recipe of old experienced guys is not working. If you are going to keep pushing, as a franchise, you can't employ, again, as shitty as it sounds, Gustav Nyquist for 50 plus games if you want to be a playoff contender. And the fact that that decision hasn't been made on these guys that aren't performing, like we're kind of in the abyss right now. And so at the deadline, like if we keep those guys, sure, if we waive them in the off season, we've now wasted like a year of, you want to call it Hellebuck Prime, Connor Prime, Scheifele Prime. And without, I'm sure exit interviews happen, but without a clear direction of the team, it's like, okay, well, now like these guys, it goes both ways. But like, for example, Nyquist stays on the team. He isn't waived the entire year. We go out, we sign a free agent next year that's like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to go get $3 million in Winnipeg. They're not going to embarrass me. They're not going to waive me. And then it's a repeating cycle. Or that big dog at the deadline. Typically, it's a guy that wants to go win a cup. So it's like, I don't think that Vincent Trocheck would ever come here, let alone would we trade for him. But to use him as an example, it's like, I don't think that we're going to get that piece, because obviously we're not a contender right now. But if for whatever reason we buy and act like we are even for next season, like there's just so many decisions that have to be made, and they haven't been made to this point, which is why I'm like, well, what direction are we going? Like, are we just going to keep doing the same thing every year and waste like primes of our core, or are we going to make these tough decisions? And I feel like this deadline, especially because of how the year's gone in last year, like it's a big tell of what the next couple of years will look like, if that makes sense.
I really don't
100%.
think Chevy will do anything this deadline, and I wouldn't blame him if he didn't.
I honestly don't either.
Because
you don't think that he should trade like heavy?
You don't think, okay, so let me run through this. No one's taking Pearson. No one's taking Nyquist. You might get something for like Nino, but you're not getting much. You could trade Perfetti, but he's young. Like, who else would you want traded?
Nemestikov, Shen, Stanley.
Okay, all three.
Like that's what I mean is
Nemestikov and Shen are both that no one will really give you anything for them. You might get third or fourth or fifths, but you're not making any outstanding like big bold moves with those players, okay? And if
that wasn't the point, but
if you want to go get Vincent Trocheck or a bona fide star, a second line center, you're giving up your first round pick. You realize that there's no ways around it. You'll have to give up a first round pick.
I don't think we have our 26.
Yeah, you do.
Or no, we don't have our 27. I think 27 was in the Monahan trade.
So are you gonna give up a chance at getting Gavin McKenna for a second line center that might work out? Or are you going to try and, or like, are you their pick's going to be high this year. So why give that up? Why not go draft and develop a player and then try and sign someone for agency?
Yeah, you can. Well, I'll add 2 points to what you said in the last comment there. My whole shtick is not go out there and make like a crazy deal. Like my shtick is,
but you're talking about franchise defining traits. You said it's
I was sort of bringing that up. Sorry, I'm
talking about like the future, and like I think Anton touched on like, would you pass up an opportunity to trade Perfetti in a first if you can get like a 28-year-old second line center? Like he's saying, would you pass that up? The reason I'm saying
you're going to
like
trade
franchise,
Perfetti and possibly
I'm using it
a top 3 pick.
I'm using it as an example. But my whole MO is that like you get these guys out respectfully in order to make room for your young guys or to get picks back. Because what do picks turn into? Either you draft or develop them, or they turn into trade pieces. There is no point for this team to hold on to Luke Shen. There's no point for this team to really, in my opinion, hold on to Logan Stanley unless you're going to keep him on your bottom pairing because you've already got your 2 left-handed defensemen for the future. There's no point in holding on to old guys. Can I finish? Thank you. There's no point in holding on to Nemestikov, Nino for as good as they've been. Their experience, it clearly doesn't work. If you can trade Nemestikov for a third, Nino for a third, Shen for a third, all of a sudden you've got a stockpile, and now you go out and you're throwing Perfetti in a third for somebody else, or you're throwing Morgan Barron and a third for someone else. Like
I
stockpiling
kicked
those
man.
picks gives you an opportunity for the future, where if you hold on to these guys past the deadline, Shen now has no value because he's not like people think of Shen as this hard-nosed, cup contending defenseman that can play dirty minutes, which he can. But at the end of the season, he's not worth that anymore. If you hold on to Logan Stanley, you're going to get to contract talks, and knowing Chevy and True North and loyalty, they're going to give him a 5x5. If you hold on to Nino and Nemestikov, they're now beating out spots for Yager, which is another conversation. Colby Barlow. It's all a revolving door, right? So if you don't get rid of them, they're still on contract. You're going to trade them for less come the end of the year, and then they're taking spots in training camp again. That's my opinion. And that also, holy shit, I might have just used 95% of my brain capacity there. That was one of my greatest rants ever, I think. So snaps for me.
No,
That
that
was
was not great because you're not getting a
Of
third for
course.
Luke Shen, and you're not getting a third for Nemestikov.
Okay, I'm using it
you're
as an
getting
example.
Yeah.
I'm using it
Yeah.
as an example, but still, if Nemestikov was on
And
your team
also,
right now,
please
holding
trade
on to a
Barron to the
position,
Oilers. We'll give
if
you
Nemestikov was on your team right now, taking up Ike Howard's spot, would you want him on the team or traded
traded
for a
but
fifth?
you're not gonna get you're not gonna get anything for him.
I mean, Luke Shen went for a second and a third last year.
Yeah, because the Jets suck at trading.
My point
I
still
don't know about
remains. My point still remains. And from your point earlier, draft and develop, we haven't drafted a first-round pick since, I think, 2021 that's made the lineup for more than 25 games. So we're tough in that department as well right now.
If you draft top 4 and he doesn't make the lineup for the first 3 years, I think Chevy needs to go. Or Sarniel. One of the two. You're
I
going to
would
be
agree.
drafting high. So if you're
I
trying to
don't-
use a first round pick to get a 28-year-old second line center, I think that's a horrible idea.
The only way
even in
Chevy
the
ever
summer,
goes is if he resigns like Maurice. I don't
Even
think
in
that's a
the
hot
summer.
take. I think that's just an opinion.
even in the everyone was talking about, what do they call them? What Halloween bro offer sheets. Everyone's like, oh, this guy's getting an offer sheet. This guy's getting an offer sheet. And Elliot came out and he's like, people aren't going to offer sheet this year because that's you offer sheet for Bouchard, okay? They're giving up 2 first-round picks. So what if that team just gets super injury prone? That's a top pick, and you lose out on McKenna or a top 3 pick. This draft is very top heavy. So I don't think anyone will really be trading for those, the Jets, the Flames, the Blackhawks, the Canucks, the Rangers. It'd be stupid to trade because any one of them could be a first overall pick. So
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but you're talking trade to get better players.
You're
all of
talking
those
about-
teams
you're
in the
talking about
bottom of the NHL. Go ahead.
go ahead. You're talking about
I'm
getting a
saying-
28-year-old first line or second line center. I don't know how you're going to do that without trading a first.
No. That wasn't my point. Sorry. Anton had mentioned that in saying if that opportunity is there to match the prime of Scheifele, Hellebuck, Connor, would it make sense to do it this year? Because that's what he thought I was going to about career, franchise defining trades. My whole MO was make the tough decisions to get people out. We don't have to do that this year. There's no reason to, because why? We don't need to bring in that guy this year because no one is going, we're not buyers. We shouldn't be buyers. So I understand what you're saying, but my whole point is just trade the guys away while they have value mid-season. Don't wait until next year when we can't trade them or we're waiving them instead of a 4th, 5th, 3rd round pick, because that's way better than just waiving them.
There's some direction as to where the team is going in this next week.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a big week. Yeah.
That was
not because we're making huge moves or anything like that, but sorry.
No, I just realized
What?
how stupid I am. I literally could have said that one sentence and it would have saved us 15 minutes of conversation. Yes, Anton said it to a T. This week needs to give Jets fans direction on where this team is going.
Yeah.
There we go.
Also,
And it better be that we are I don't think that we need to necessarily blow the team up like people are saying, but
I
we
agree.
need to be sellers at this
Agreed.
deadline. We need to get rid of the bad pieces, and then we need to get, like you just said, Breaks, draft high next year and come back better the year after. I don't think we need to trade Scheifele or Connor or Hellebuck or Morrissey like some people in our comment section have been saying. I think that's crazy. I think we still have a core, which is what you need to win. We just need some pieces around that core.
Agreed. And we've been
And we're not going to get that at
starving.
the trade deadline this year.